Yo, what's up everybody? It's Connor from Unscripted, back with another video. In today's video, we are talking about what I feel are some of the biggest storylines heading into CDL Major 3, and as always, we are doing it off the script. Before we hop into the video, don't forget to leave a like down below if you enjoy. Leave a comment as well with your thoughts on the video, the style of the video, if you like the stepping away from the news or whatever else. Let me know down below. Subscribe to the channel as always if you are enjoying the content and looking for more of it. I appreciate it all. It means a lot to me, and let's hop right in. So, stepping away from the news updates for tonight because it really just hasn't been much going on news-wise, and I thought it was a good time to talk about some of what I feel are the big things to watch heading into the major. And the first thing we're going to focus on today is actually some of the bottom teams. We're talking about the 4 teams starting in losers bracket round 1. So it's interesting because in terms of who starts in the losers bracket round 1, there really were no surprises at all this stage. These are the 4 bottom teams in the CDL. They are the 4 bottom teams by points for the year. And this is important because, the bottom 4 teams don't make champs. So it's time for these guys. Someone's got to make a run if they want a shot at the top 8 to qualify for champs this year. And right now, these 4 teams are on the outside looking in. So we step over, or actually, before we step over, I'll just say I'm talking about the Los Angeles Guerrillas, Seattle Surge, London Royal Ravens, and Paris Legion. I don't know if you can see it down there so well. So that's who I'm talking about. And as we step over here into the standings, let me just adjust. Okay, there we go. So that's what the standings look like right now. And as you see, Los Angeles, Paris, London, and Seattle are the bottom 4. Now, LAG is close to Florida. Paris not too far behind either. They're all somewhat close, but at the same time, Florida is really picking things up right now. They did make the winners bracket. They were actually the 2 seed in Group A this stage. They're playing well, so one of these teams, if they want to make a run at making champs, they really have to step it up right away. And the thing is, Florida's really hit or miss. We've seen throughout the year they can have their highs, but they can have their lows too. So if one of these teams can get going, maybe make a run at this major, get top 6 or whatever else, just get some wins and some extra CDL points, they can put themselves in a good spot to at least stay close with Florida. Now, when I think about these teams, it's weird because right now LAG is the closest to Florida and Paris is second closest. But I actually think London of these 4 teams is playing the best. The thing with them is though they put themselves in a hole where they're pretty far behind, only 50 points, 40 out of the 8th spot. And they don't have much time to make up for it. So even though they're playing the best right now, that doesn't mean they're going to be able to catch up. So really, I do think the current top 8 will remain the top 8 for the rest of the season, but maybe it will not. Maybe it won't. Maybe things will change. And I'm looking at a team like London, see if they can get hot, keep up. They're improving. So if they can keep improving over each stage, maybe by stage 5, they will have enough wins to catch up and get that 8 seed. I doubt it, but who knows? So that is definitely one thing I am watching at this event for sure. Next up, we're going to talk about the teams at the top, and this storyline that I'm interested in most of the teams at the top is that it feels like there are 3 legitimate teams who have a real shot at winning this tournament, which in the Stage 1 major, everybody thought it was FaZe. Even in the Stage 2 major, everybody thought it was FaZe. It didn't end up being them, but that's what we thought heading in. And then at the beginning of Stage 3, it was like Toronto was like clearly the best team, and they did go 5-0 in the group stage. They still should be considered the favorites in my opinion, but as you look at these stats, the team stats, it's a toss-up. It really is. So these are courtesy of Round 11 Stats, at R11 Stats on Twitter. Definitely give them a follow. I appreciate it. You can't see their ad in here, unfortunately, with the way it's zoomed, but definitely give them a follow. I appreciate all the stats they put out for sure. So looking at hardpoint, Subliners, 9-0. They did not lose a hardpoint this stage. That's crazy. They have clearly been so good in the respawns, or at least in the hardpoints, since Hydra has joined the roster. Ultra not far behind them at 5-1. Ultra has so many less maps played in Hardpoint just because they rarely get to game 4. They win in 3 a lot, but they are 5-1. And then FaZe struggled a little bit. They are 4-5, but as we'll get to see these other modes, they are sure picking it up there. But those are the 3 teams who I think have a real shot to win this. Over to Control. Ultra are the ones at the top, 5-0, have not lost this stage. FaZe not far behind at 4-1, and then New York all the way down there at 1-4. So it is only one map of the series, but also a lot of times it can play as a swing map where if the series is tied 1-1, going up 2-1 can take a lot of pressure off of you heading into the final 2 maps. So Control is definitely an important one, even though it actually does make up the least amount of the series. You still don't want to just throw them away like New York has been. So they definitely are looking to pick it up there, whereas Ultra and FaZe are looking to just keep it up what they're doing. And then finally in Search, Ultra also have not lost a Search this stage. There's 5-0 there. FaZe, they are second at 6-2. And the Subliners at 4-3. They are 5th in the league. So all these teams pretty good at Search. Subliners are the laggards there for sure, but they're not too far behind. So it's just all of these teams are so good, it's hard to really say for sure who should be favored. I can see an argument being made for all the teams. New York's dominance in hardpoint, that matters a lot. That clearly gives them a realistic edge against a lot of these teams. They haven't lost yet. Toronto have not lost any Search or Control, and they've only lost, 1 hardpoint. So I mean, that's phenomenal. I think it's actually more than one. Let's check. Maybe two. One. So they lost one map. Okay, so yeah. I mean, you can't get much better than that. You know, they've lost one map in the entire stage. They're winning their searches. They're winning their controls. They're the best team in the game in both of those modes, so obviously they have to be one of the favorites. Phase. They have their slaying ability. They have their search and destroy capabilities. They have the control, which they're winning. You know, same thing. And they are, you know, they struggle in hardpoint a little bit, but their slaying powers, when they're going, they can still beat any team in hardpoint. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So all of these teams have a legitimate shot at winning this tournament, which is the first time I think we can really say that this year. You know, at least heading into a major. Maybe during group play, there were times where we thought 3 or 4 teams could win it, but heading into the major, I think all 3 of these teams can be considered, you know, pretty close odds. All of them could be favored depending who you ask and depending what they value most. So I'm really interested in seeing how this plays out. I'm interested in seeing if these teams end up being the top 3 at the major. I'm confident they will, but crazier things have happened for sure. But it's definitely one of the things that I'm watching most heading into this major. Heading back over the bracket, 2 teams that I'm watching in the winners bracket with a very close eye are actually the LA Thieves and the Dallas Empire. Of course, you know why. It is the Hook storyline that has been taking the scene by storm recently. When Dallas dropped Hook and picked up Fellow, it was an interesting move for sure. People did not think it was going to pay off for them. So far, it has been okay. They are 2-2 with Fellow on their squad in place of Hook. LA Thieves getting Hook was probably, I mean, definitely the biggest news story of the year. You can't really think of news bigger than that. They only played one series with him. They actually lost 3-1. He didn't play the best, but they were playing New York, who is one, like we were just saying, one of the top teams in the league. So take that with a grain of salt. But I'm just really watching and seeing which of those teams end up doing better, because I think that is going to be, you know, a talking point of a lot of people. If Dallas ends up placing better than LA Thieves does, that will definitely, you know, even if they don't win the tournament, that would give them some confidence. I mean, they have the confidence. I'm sure they have the confidence, but that would give the community more confidence in them moving forward. I think if they come out here and they stink it up, if they get smoked by FaZe and then go down, maybe win one in the losers bracket and then finish top 8 or 6, whatever that would be, that wouldn't be good for them, because then, you know, they would really get the harassment, really get the Hook reminders, and just the constant drama around them that they don't really want, they don't need. It just sort of digs at their team and it might make things worse, whatever else. But the LA Thieves on their side, you know, they had been playing really well prior to picking up Hook. Like I said, they did pick him up and lose their first and only series with him, but it's a really small sample size. They start off with the Florida Mutineers, definitely a winnable series for them. If they can get going there, they'd have to take on New York after that, which who knows how that would go. But if they can at least get that win over Florida, get themselves into what I think would be the top 6, then that would be good for their confidence moving forward and just seeing what they can do from there. So I think a lot of people are watching this one just because of that Hook storyline and sort of Dallas looking to prove that, you know, maybe we do know what we're talking about. Everybody wanted to doubt us and question our decision-making for making that roster move, but we know what we're doing. And the LA Thieves on the other side are looking to rub it in Dallas's face a little bit and say, you know, hey, thanks for the free present. Look how much better he made us. So I think both of those teams have something to prove right now, especially Dallas being the defending champs, being the second place team at the first major and the third place team at the second major, now trying to prove that this roster change somehow made them better. I don't think it did. I think we're going to find that out in this major, but regardless of whether I'm right or wrong, they are looking to prove people wrong, and, you know, I'm definitely watching that and seeing if they're able to do just that. And finally, of course, it would not be a storylines video without an Optic Chicago storyline right there in the middle of your screen. They are definitely one of the biggest storylines heading into this major. They currently sit number 5 in the CDL point standings for the year. You know, they're going to make champs. That's not a worry for them. They will at least remain, I would think, probably in the top 6, but they could probably fall to 7. We'll have to see how it goes out. But right now, they're not looking good in that release of storyline. They're looking pretty bad. They went 2-3. They are starting the tournament in the losers bracket. Let me just get this situated for you guys. There we go. So as you see, they're starting there at the bottom. They will face the winner of LAG and the Seattle Surge. So they should at least get the tournament off to a good start with a win. You know, I do confidently favor them over both of those teams, even though they are playing pretty poorly right now. I think all 4 of those teams, Optic, are clearly better than all, you know, those 4 teams in the losers round 1. So they shouldn't have no problem winning that. But then from there, they will end up facing, I think, New York, Florida, or LA Thieves. Probably Florida or LA Thieves. So another, you know, winnable one, but with the way they're playing right now, they definitely have to be better for sure. And I just don't know if I see it from them. I mean, they are horrible in the hard points this stage. I forget what the stat was when we had them up earlier, but something like 3 and 8, maybe, something bad. They've been good at search, got to give them that, but their controls have been bad also. I saw a stat from those same stats. They have the exact same win percentage in hardpoint and control as the LA Gorillas this year, or this stage. So their respawns are not cutting it right now. You know, LA Gorillas are far from being known as one of the powerhouse respawn teams. So if you're right on par with them, that's not looking good. And the respawns, they do make up 3 out of the 5 maps in a series, of course, so even if you can win your search every single time, if you can't win a respawn, you can't win a series. And they are really struggling in the respawns right now. It has been bad for them. They have to get things turned around for sure. And it's also a storyline just because if they do perform, say they lose their first match and they're done, or they win one, then they lose one, they're done, they finish top 8, or whatever it would be. Do they make a change? That would become the next big storyline. Do they make a roster change because the performance has not been there for them? I doubt they do. I think they'll give their players at least a chance on LAN to see what happens, but I honestly think they're investing too much into the whole LAN idea. I think if that's their hope for the savior of their season, they will be disappointed. I think it's just their level of play is not good enough right now. That's all it really is. But they have a chance to prove that wrong in this major for sure. If they can get hot, even get into that top 4, maybe not win the whole thing, but get into that top 4 where they do belong, at least based on their individual talent, that would be big for them. A big confidence boost heading into stage 4 where we know the major will be on LAN and LAN is back after that. So that'd be big for them. But if they do go out of here and they just lose their first or second match, their team confidence will go down the drain. Their team morale will not be good. Just all the drama about will they make a change that would really probably get to those guys. They try to ignore it, but it's not always easy, especially being the most popular and well-known team in the league. So a lot going on for them for sure at this major, and it's just will they be able to silence the haters and make a run? We'll see. That's going to actually wrap up this video. If you enjoyed the storylines, don't forget to leave a like down below. Leave a comment as well with your thoughts on some of your favorite storylines heading into the Stage 3 Major. And subscribe to the channel as always if you are enjoying the content and looking for more of it. It means a lot to me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you had a good day. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video.